Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Read TFOS, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called Artifacts, written by LgFatherAnthrocite. Alan was laying on the bottom of a large hole, wielding a little brush. Carefully, he brushed aside the dirt from a small piece of unknown artifact. It was some sort of ceramic vessel, broken into pieces ages ago and buried in a midden. Alan was here working on his xenoarchaeology degree. He had spent 6 years studying all he could about archaeology, recovery and preservation techniques, and Cherokee culture. He carefully gripped the shard of a pair of tweezers and picked it out of the dirt. He placed it in a small compartment of a divided tray and noted the lot number, depth, time of day, compartment number, and all other data relevant to the piece. He turned back to the dirt and started brushing it away, layer by layer, again. Jane sat at a workbench. She placed the piece of ceramic on the work surface and carefully examined the surface pattern. She tried lining it up with several other pieces until she found one where the patterns matched up. Using a small piece of clay, she stuck the two pieces together. Several days of tedious mixing and matching, and she had reassembled a tall, narrow vase-like vessel. The surface was covered in a series of symbols and images. Jane catalogued the pieces she had used to reconstruct the piece. Where and when they were found, she entered it all into the log file. Once she had finished logging the piece and all of its particularities, she retrieved another set of pieces and began again. Stephanie sat in front of her PC. Images of newly reconstructed vase-like objects were on her screen. It was from a pre-contact civilization and had been identified as most likely being a Cherokee in origin. She started by isolating the symbols on the vase and copying them to a file. She printed a hard copy of the file. She went to her bookcase and found the reference books related to the Cherokee and all their languages. Setting them all down, she started looking up symbols in all the books. Slowly, she narrowed down the options until she was certain there was a language called Chehanagop, a derivative language from the Cherokee root language spoke by a small, isolated group of island dwellers. She spent the next several days translating the symbols. She sent the list of references, translations, and images to the project manager and started on the next translation. Darrell gathered all the data, the site information, the images of the vase, the multiple versions of the translation. He went over everything, verified every detail for the 1000th time. Once he was certain everything was correct, he labeled the whole chain of recovery complete. He packaged the vase, translation, reference material, and data logs and sent them to storage to await the completion of the dig and recovery. He opened the next folder and saw that it was a metal tube covered in hash marks, a form of accounting record used by the Cherokee. They started to verify the data on the piece, one of the thousands of artifacts found at the site. Anna stood in front of a vase, tall and cylindrical. It was covered in images and symbols. On a small plaque mounted on the wall next to the vase were a translation and an explanation of the object's origin. Kuramaga, the Cherokee ambassador, stood reading the plaque. After a moment, he turned and studied the vase.
Why is it that after thousands of cycles, you humans find so much interest in a broken piece of pottery? What does it tell you?
Kuramaga asked Anna.
We humans did not know where we came from. We spent hundreds of years piecing together our lost past. We learned a great many things. In all of Terran history, there are only a few pieces of the timeline we don't know. What caused the universe? What caused the dinosaurs to die us out? What caused the ancient floods? What caused us to start eating a more varied diet? We have a good idea, a few theories, some bits and pieces of proof.
So why search the waste heaps of other species? What can you learn about yourselves from this?
Asked Kuramaga.
We don't go looking for answers for ourselves anymore, Ambassador, said Anna with a smile. She started to head towards another exhibit in the new collection at the museum. We have spent so long searching through our past into the nature of matter, how to travel the galaxy. Humans have spent millennia just struggling to survive, and the whole time we kept searching. It's not the answers we seek by doing this, my dear Kuramaga. No, we do it for the search. Knowledge is the one thing humans still hunt. End of story.
I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Caspar Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon WRE, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.